Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geeks, and children of all ages. And that's a reference to you, Keith. A Hufflepuff of all ages. Sorry. Hufflepuff of all ages. Welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. And this week I've got Keith with me, and we'll be talking about Star Trek Picard, Hogwarts Legacy, and some other bits. So, how we doing, Keith?
I'm doing all right. Been a good week. It's been a good week. I am enjoying playing on my PlayStation 5. I love it so much. And I just love having a freaking PlayStation that isn't bleeping all the time, because my old PS4, bless it, it had a good innings. I mean, it was about, 7 or 8 years old. I mean, I got it at Nigel's birthday at that time. So that was, 8 years ago. And it was bleeping all the time. Like, one of the buttons wasn't working properly. Like, the power button kept bleeping. But it doesn't matter if you cover it up or anything, it was still bleeping. So it had a good innings. I like having new technology. It's beautiful. Feels so good on my skin.
Can't take you anywhere, can I?
No. No, been a good week.
All good.
Yeah. How you been?
I've been all right. I've been listening to everyone talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Mania.
I was going to go and see it, and then I cancelled.
I was going to see it too, and then I saw everyone's reaction to it, and I'm like, nah, mate. I think I'll do it. Ant-Man. Look. Biffa's already here. Yeah, Ant-Man. It was, everyone's just, what I got from it was the bit that put me off the most was it's an incoherent mess. And the bit that I liked about the Ant-Man bits was the fact that Scott and his daughter had a really lovely relationship. Yeah. In the first two films, they had a really lovely relationship. And I really liked that because it kind of showed him as a dad in a positive light. And now apparently she's a horrible cow.
Yep. Same trope, Disney sort of trope of having annoying girls that apparently can conjure up amazing technology without ever having to earn it, because that's what they do. You know, they don't earn it. That's what the women now do in Hollywood. You don't earn the respect; you just get it. Apparently. So yeah, I won't go and see it. I was going to go and see it. I you know, like I'm a bit like you with Star Wars. I'm like that with Marvel. I was going to go and see it just because I wanted to go out to the cinema with my missus, and then I heard such bad reviews. I thought, I'm not going to waste money on it. I'm just not going to give it the. I'll watch it on Disney Plus maybe when it comes out. Or I might even download it not to give them the view, to just show my discontent. Personally, I think Feige needs to be fired. The Phase 4 was an unmitigated disaster, and this is meant to be the beginning of Phase 5, and it's even worse. They you know, it's shit. I'm sorry, but it's shit.
See, part of me, as I said, it was not that, because I was expecting people to big down on it and this, that, and the other. But when they turned around, they were like, kind of, it seems incoherent. That's the thing I got from everything: incoherent. Yeah, and I'm like, oh great, that feels like Doctor Strange did and like Thor did, where it's just they just throw a load of shit at the wall and see what sticks rather than tell a story and have a script. And then the other bit was again with his daughter, and that was the thing I liked about the Ant-Man thing. That was I thought there's a core. Everyone's like talks about, Ant-Man was about seeing like small things large and seeing the world slightly differently, which is true, which is absolutely true, but. I always felt that it had heart. I described the last Ant-Man and the Wasp film as having heart. You know, it felt quite family, sort of.
I will give you that. I mean, even the critics have turned on this. I mean, you know, it's not like Marvel can turn around and say it's ists this time, is it? They can't blame it on ists. Even the critics are saying this is shit. And when the critics turn on you, you've got a turkey on your hands. So, you know, and what's Marvel got in the up and coming movies? The Marvels. Oh wow, really looking forward to that. Not. There's no one. They're fucked. They are fucked. They have not had a coherent story. They wasted Phase 4 on a load of bullshit. They brought out a load of sub-fucking-par Disney Plus shows. For what? I mean, the only thing that saved the Hawkeye was the fact that the female actress that they had in that just happens to be really charismatic. But that's down to the actress, not the goddamn writing or the production.
Yeah, so Biffa made a comment in the chat about the Rotten Tomatoes score. So the Rotten Tomatoes score is 84 for audience. Which is it's okay. I'm gonna. So I've got a cinema pass, so I can go and see it without spending any money because I've already spent the money at the beginning of the month. So I don't know. I might just pop down there on my own. I don't think I'll take the family to sit. I don't think I'll go and sit with a friend. I'll just sit down there. If I don't like it, I can walk out, and I don't feel so bad. But yes, it's that was yes. Hang on a second. This the Spy Kids movie comparison. I've seen people make it, and I've watched the comparison bits online, and I think you've got something there because it does look very Shark Boy Love Girl sort of Spy Kiddie sort of thing. Yeah, there's lots of things in there. Apparently, everyone keeps forgetting that MODOK is in this because it's that bad that everyone just blocks it. So I don't know. I'll watch it. It may not be as bad as everyone's making out to be. It may. I was hoping for a middling, competent film. If that makes any sense, that's all I wanted. A middling, competent film with Scott Lang in there, and that kind of thing. But no, can't get that show. So yes, but there was something that was a surprise this week. A total fucking surprise this week. Yeah. And it was the fact that someone had deep faked a load of Witcher footage to put Liam Hemsworth in there, and it looks all right. I'm joking. Star Trek Picard season 3, first episode. Watched that, and I'm like, it's kind of feels like Star Trek. I think someone in charge might have actually give a shit. I was amazed. I was absolutely flabbergasted by the fact that people watched it was going on and it was fine.
I've got a question for you, right? And I mean, I don't know if you've seen these fucking Doomcock videos, but that guy's just lost the fucking plot. And he is so on the wrong side of this. He was on the wrong side of House of Dragon, and he's definitely on the wrong side of this. And it just makes him look like a fool. I'm going to say that he looks like a fool. But anyway, do you think, right? All the biggest fucking critics of Kurtzman Trek, like all of them, have seen all of this. That's got to be on purpose.
I think half of them have seen it. Sorry, they've seen half of it at least.
Oh no, they're all coming out now.
I think the guy reached out to these people specifically to say, around, goes, "You're the detractors. If I can win you over."
I think by doing this, it's admitted it. But the fact that Gary, seen it, that all of the ones that have wanted to see it have seen it, right? And the studio hasn't thrown the book at anyone, right? For this, usually when you're sent out all 6 episodes or all 10 episodes, 6 episodes were sent out, yet the final 4 have leaked out to more than one person. That's got to be on purpose. And the fact that the studio is not going about this tends to make me think the studio actually likes what these guys are saying, and maybe this time round they know that they've won onto something. I was kind of, I heard rumors. I knew you said, "Oh, Dave Cullen had seen it," but I stayed away from the videos because I didn't want any spoilers. So I thought, right, I'm going to go into this with my own set of eyes, right? And I'm glad I did, because immediately after watching that first episode, I've watched it a couple of times now, somebody spoiled something for me, but I'd already guessed it. And I'm glad because I was right. But it was like, I mean, I'll tell you the scene, right? You know the scene where Raffi is on the planet in the ship, and she's talking to the mischievous person behind the thing. The minute he goes, "You're a warrior," hello, Wolf, like that. And then somebody spoiled the shit out of that, saying, yeah, it's Wolf. So, I mean, the minute he said it, was like, hello, Wolf.
Okay, so I got a comment here from Biffa, where he's turned around and said, Picard is too dark and dull. Okay. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt on the dull part, but dark as in I can't fucking see what's going on. Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know why they don't switch the lights on. It really gets on my tits.
This has
Should
been
be a
the
nice
biggest
bright lit thing. Yeah.
The biggest criticism is that the sets are really dark. And like everybody that's like showing clips is brightening it up, especially what's his face, Chato. He's brightening them up.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that everyone's doing it, including Dave Cullen. But this feels like Picard again. He's not being talked down to by people. He's not being belittled. I love the fucking banter between him and Riker. That bit where he fucks up about the warp 9.9 bit, and Riker soloed it. Nice recovery. Shut up.
That was it. It felt like it should be called Star Trek Old Man, because it feels like it's just a proper Star Trek with old men. Okay, so hang on a second. So the other part of it too was, all right. So I don't think the 7 of 9 thing was some kind of racist jab. All right,
no, it wasn't.
I think it's because the captain may have had something to do with Wharf 359 or whatever it was.
Yeah, blatant.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for that to be revealed. Yeah, because I think that's the case. That one, the Enterprise didn't turn up in time. 2, it was their fault for doing the Borg. He lost people. I think that's where he's coming from that. But the speech that Seven makes, where she turns around and goes, I know my gut instinct, I know this is the right thing to be doing, but I keep having to follow orders for people who clearly don't know. I don't believe they know what they're doing. Yeah. To which Picard looks at her and goes, when you find the answer, can you tell me? Because I never found that out. And I'll be honest with you, that's just a lesson in life, because you always get those fucking work for managers and directors and stuff who are a little on the clueless side, yeah? That drives you fucking wild, where it's like, no, it's obvious we should be doing this. We've done this before. This worked. Why are we not doing this? Sort of thing.
They've said that this is the dullest episode, that this is the least best episode, right? That everybody that's seen the entire season. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it because I enjoyed the banter between Riker and Kirk. Riker was a bit ropey at the beginning in 10 Forward. That scene felt slightly forced at the beginning, but apart from that, everything else felt really
hang on a
good.
second. Right. Hold on a second. Fat ones, was that a reference to Whoopi Goldberg?
There's lots of digs in there. I've watched it a few times now because there's a lot of hidden stuff in there. There's lots of stuff that you keep touching on. I mean, he's chocked this full of fucking Easter
just like to put the end title sequence is full of notes to what's happening in the future.
I know.
It's so annoying because I looked at it and went, and then I was too tired. I was too tired and I couldn't be bothered to go through it. Biff Turner was saying when he said meant dull, he meant not clean looking.
Yes, I know what you mean.
So I think that the Titan looked clean. I think the Titan looked clean. It looked clean and glassy, but it's just because it's so fucking dark.
Oh, I liked the look of the Titan on the outside. I mean, when the Titan in space dock and that fucking music, that was perfect, right? I don't like the darker sets, but I don't think I'm not sure how much Terry Matalas is in charge of the look. And the thing is, they have this look, and that's been the problem with the TV era Trek. People keep throwing this in with Abraham's or JJ's first movie, but that wasn't dark. I loved
no Christ, it was the opposite. It was too fucking bright.
Yeah, so they've now, but the sets are too dark. But somebody made a point that actually the operations center of a US battleship or any naval ship is quite dark. True, that is actually true. And
no, not the bridges.
Well,
not the bridges.
Yeah,
I've been on bridges. But you get a chance to walk around them as things, and they've got big fucking windows so you can see what the hell's going on.
Yes, but they're making this more like an operations center. They got it slightly wrong. But here's the thing: you mentioned Captain Shaw, right? The actor that plays him. So Terry Matalas did one of my more favorite TV series, which was 12 Monkeys. I really enjoyed that, right? And the actor that plays Shaw was cast in 12 Monkeys. And when he first appears, he plays a complete and utter cock, right? But by the end of it, you love him, right? And that actor has a tendency to take roles like this, and he's done it with Terry Matalas before. So I suspect by the end of it, we're going to like Shaw quite a bit. And actually, I suspect we're going to get a Titan series. So that's sort of possibly been implied. And look, this guy in one fucking episode has done the best fucking Star Trek I have seen in years, and that's including Prodigy. And I thought Prodigy was pretty good because at least Prodigy had like the hopeful side of things again, and it was all right. Prodigy. There was a few
Rick and Morty Star Trek.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. No, I'm not talking about
wanky. I watched one episode, and the only
you haven't
and
watched
I'm not
enough.
joking. I don't have ADHD, but it felt like someone was telling me that because you got ADHD, so that might be why you enjoyed it more. I haven't.
Not
It was
got
difficult.
I've not
got
got, but Prodigy. You've got to watch Prodigy all the way through to get it. It's when Janeway turns up, it really does feel Star Trekky, and the battle scenes with all the ships and everything. Whoever was making Prodigy understood that the ships are important to people, and that's the thing that they've never got about. Like Kurtzman Trek has never really understood. Copy and paste Picard season 1. But this was great. The music was great. The camaraderie. I personally think 7 of 9 had more personality in this than she did in all of the last season. She was a token lesbian for some unobscure reason. I know they've kept this in this, but he is saddled with certain things that they've already established, which kind of sucks. But I think 7 and 9 is going to be interesting. I suspect we're going to see Janeway at some point, which I think might be quite cool. I suspect we're going to see DS9 characters. No one has leaked who it is. I think it's Kira. As much as I want it to be Cisco.
You said this last season.
Yeah. Look,
you were wrong.
They keep fucking giving you these Easter eggs to Deep Space Nine, and Terry Matalis liked Deep Space Nine. I know there's a Deep Space Nine character in it. I just know it. Token les. Well, she is the token lesbian in this. I mean, there's no other. Every show these days has to have a token trans, a token lesbian, and a token gay guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they've written characters and gone, okay, it feels like this character is gay, which I could understand. An evolution of a character, in the writing, you sort of realize the character might be gay. They set out to write. They have to have a gay. They're box ticking. Everything fucking does this.
Box ticking. They're token lesbian.
But I loved that whole fucking space dock scene. Space dock looked really cool, just like the movies. That was very much on purpose, and I don't care.
Did you like the way they had the star base and they literally just glued all the other star bases together with the exception of Deep Space Nine? I just found that mad. It was like kind of, we got the original one, and then we got the one with the 4 bits on top, and we'll put this bit here, and yeah.
But it was kind of cool, and I love the fact that if you like those end credits, as you said, Voyager is flying around that, which is, kind of cool. So I think we're going to get a lot more, and I don't care. I'm on board for it now. Gates, my friend, I love you, but your face just looked like it was one step away from melting off.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I could sort of say about that. But I'm looking forward to Wolf turning up. I am looking forward to. I know he's playing some kind of fucking warrior monk now. So the pacifist thing is that he's trying to be a pacifist and failing. And as long as he slices and dices, that's all I care.
True.
I loved it. It really put a smile on my face. I went cautious into it. I knew people were saying good things about it, but I went cautiously. But the fucking minute that credit scene came up and it played the First Contact, because I fucking love the music to First Contact, and it played that First Contact opening, I went, oh, like that. And then it just kept getting better. And I just love the quips between Riker and him. I think that's just great. Nobody talking down to
it's having character, isn't it? It's what that is. It's like what we've been missing from Star Trek for the last 10 years is characters.
And there's a sense of silliness to it, but it's a Star Trek sense of silliness, if that makes sense. The ruse of going onto a ship to do an inspection. That's been done, that kind of silliness has been done in Star Trek before, but you buy it because it's Star Trek. And that's what I liked about it. And the bit where Picard walks up to him, straightens the fucking badge, that made me fits of laughter.
I did appreciate the fact that they did the ruse, yeah, and they sat down with the captain. The captain just went, "No."
Yeah.
That was like, oh, We fucked up there, and then it cuts to them on bunk beds. That was
Yep.
great.
Yep. Again, I'm looking forward to this, but I have seen a lot of videos now, and everybody's saying it's really good, and it's consistently good through. So we might have lap it up, boys, because this might be the only one we get. There's a YouTube channel called the Popcast, I think they call themselves, and they're right. The more that we say this is what we want, the more that we big this up. This is what they'll give us more of. Look, I mean, you need to watch Prodigy Board because it's got a great story. Actually, it's hopeful. The thing I liked about Prodigy was that it brought back the hopeful side of things. It made Starfleet back into a hopeful organization. It brought Janeway back in, and she was good in this. And it's a kids' cartoon. I would say that the other one is more Ren and Stimpy.
No, it's not a kids' cartoon.
Prodigy is a kids' cartoon. It's on Nickelodeon.
No, it's not a kids' cartoon.
Prodigy is on. Which one did you watch?
Did
you watch Lower Decks?
I'm thinking Lower Decks. Sorry.
Right. Lower Decks is shit.
That's why. That's what's confusing. It's like no. Oh, fuck me.
Prodigy is quite good. It's got what's his face. Who was in oh god, the show. What was the? Oh fuck, my brain's gone.
The show with the thing.
The show with the bald guys in it.
The bald guys in it. Fringe.
Yeah, Fringe. Right. The Doctor in Fringe, and who was in Lord of the Rings. He's kind of a bad guy in this, or voices one of the bad guys in Prodigy. Really good. Prodigy just brought back the hopeful side of fucking Star Trek. I mean, it is a kids' cartoon, but it's genuinely quite good. And there are a few sort of, shitty episodes in it, but the story itself is pretty good. And I'm looking forward to season 2. And that gave me some hope that they'd actually finally listened. And yeah, look, this so far, Picard's been great. He's not.
It's only one episode.
He tore down. I know, but it's night and fucking day different.
I know it is. I'm still gonna wander carefully into it. A weird fucking quantum tunneling thing. Quantum tunneling isn't making a tunnel through space. That's a wormhole.
Yes,
quantum tunneling is when you have things that are entangled. And you can tap one and it taps on the other side instantaneously because they are linked. That's what they talk about in the quantum tunneling. They're not talking about creating a big ring and then dropping a building through it. All right.
Well, look, again, Star Trek's never been always like sciencey, but look, I trust Dave Cullen. I often agree with him. I don't always agree with him, but I agree with him so far on this. I agree with him, and he's seen all 10. Robert Burnett has seen that. Well, they've all fucking seen it. They've all admitted to it now. In the latest videos, they've all sort of copped to it that they've seen the whole lot. Even Gary has reluctantly said, okay, it's kind of good. There are things there that are not good. The sets are too fucking dark, right? Apparently, there's some F-bombs. I don't like the fact that Seven even said shit. You don't even, before this, I think Data is the only one that ever said it, and he said it once, and it was comedic, and it was explained because of the emotion chip. But no other character has said that. I think the dialogue in places is bad. Still, it still feels like modern dialogue and not Star Trek dialogue. There are a few problems with this episode in that respect. The sets are way too dark, but at least they're using the proper fucking graphics. The Larkers again, Larkers, is that what they call them?
I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It looks like Star Trek. The ships are too dark. I don't want F-bombs in there. It's Star Trek, but the characterization is there. The Picard feels like an old man, but it feels like, I mean, there was a bit where they made Kirk feel like an old man in Star Trek 2 when he's putting on the fucking glasses. And like by Star Trek 6, they're all freaking old men.
I like that comment. If 7 of 9 doesn't like it, then she needs a replicator and build her own stuff. I like that. Okay.
But I don't know. I've got hope because it felt like Star Trek. It really felt like Star Trek. And I kind of enjoyed watching Prodigy, but it was a kiddies cartoon. And there were moments when it was that. And the voices are a bit sort of kiddie because it's on Nickelodeon. It had to be. But, when you see the Defiant in battle, when you see a few of the other recognizable ships, even though it was a cartoon, that was kind of awesome. But I like the quip. with Riker there, where Riker sort of suddenly goes, nice recovery. Oh, shut up.
Yes.
Because I loved that. That was grumpy Picard back, and I loved that.
Mm.
And look, when they were all on the fucking screen, I'm going to get member berries, and I know I am. But by the sounds of it, this guy clearly loves Star Trek. I mean, this guy that is making this fucking clearly loves Star Trek. And there is passion there, and you get that. I mean, just making the font, getting the Next Generation font, the music. He used my favorite piece of Star Trek music. I'm loving it. Sorry, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm loving it, and this might be my only fucking season that I get to love. So I'm gonna fucking enjoy it. Watched it 3 times.
Did you? I watched it once, and then tried to rewatch the titles to try and pick out bits.
Oh yeah, I did that. I analyzed shit out of those titles. The Voyager Enterprise A was in the museum. Enterprise A, like Kirk's ship. What's the betting that's going to turn up? Because we know that Enterprises are turning up. We saw the Enterprise F being decommissioned, but that was just a nod to the Star Trek Online Enterprise F. What's the betting the ship we're going to get is the Enterprise A? That's going to kind of be good. You want
the Enterprise E?
No, I don't. I want the A. Given the choice, I want the A. Oh god, yeah. That's still the Enterprise. I love the Enterprise.
Right, hang on a second. I right, okay. Wasn't very Star Trek, but I did find that funny. Oh yeah, what'd they call you? Crash, because you crashed the space shuttle. Yes. And then it was, I don't know if she had to go through Starfleet twice or she crashed 2 space shuttles.
Yeah, twice. Apparently, is what Riker said. It was like Picard was like, "Well, all right, But again, that was great. But that's a callback because LaForge started off as a pilot before transferring to engineering. And somebody has referenced a first season episode, which was actually really fucking gruesome. I think it on the DVD, it made the DVD like a 15. Right, if the version that was shown on TV is cut, you can watch it on Netflix uncut, where basically Starfleet's like senior admiralty got fucking taken over by these bugs, right? And then there's like a commander, and Will and Picard go to kill the thing, and like his head explodes, and there's blood and guts everywhere, and then these fucking bugs burst out of his body, full alien style. That was in Next Gen, man. And somebody's referenced that as saying, if you've watched that episode, hint, that's kind of like the threat. That episode ends with a beacon being sent out. I'm just wondering if Metalis has gone back and gone, right, we're going to do a sequel to that. Now that could be interesting.
We'll wait.
You see, because that actually could be quite subtly clever, because, it could be that the last, 10 years, Starfleet has been in, or infected again by these bugs, and that's why we got sheer fucking hubris, and that's the way of
it would be a great explanation for why Starfleet was shit over the fucking Kurtzman era. That's because they were all subject to parasites, but we got rid of the parasites. I'm not saying Kurtzman's some kind of parasite, but parasites.
Apparently,
if that's the case, then that's going to be good. I'm going to watch it. If it does anything stupid or outlandish, I'll drop off straight away. I'm not going to give it any more benefit of the doubt after that. Fingers crossed it doesn't do that. People are saying it doesn't do that.
People are saying it's good.
Okay. Well,
it's giving me hope, Gareth. It's giving me hope.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm one Marvel movie away from giving up on Marvel, and that's since the Guardians of the Galaxy happened, I'm done with Marvel.
Oh,
I've been done with. I haven't been. It sounds weird. I haven't been as done with Star Trek as I have with Star Wars. Yeah, I think because the first thing is when the prequels came out, I was done with Star Wars at the end of the prequels. And then the sequels came out, and I watched them, and I watched the first one, and it was like this is like when a band ends their band career and they have to put out the last one is their greatest hits. That's what that felt like. I watched that, and you and Nigel were like, "Oh, this is amazing," and I'm like, "No, I don't like it." And then eventually we're like, kind of actually now we think about it, it's not as good as I thought it was. And then the second one came out, and I had my expectations were like on the floor. So you're like, you're gonna hate the Mary Poppins bit, and I'm like, It's shit as it is. The Mary Poppins bit was completely understandable. I got more annoyed with the Canto Bite thing because it wasted my fucking time. But I haven't been as done with. It sounds really weird. I haven't been as done with Star Trek, probably because I dipped out to keep myself safe. If that made any sense, because of being in there. Because I think it was Discovery season 1, where I think I called the ending. I did call the ending, didn't I?
You did.
Gave me a T-shirt for that still.
Yep.
So I called the ending for that one, and it was just garbage. And I was like, I think I switched off knowing this stuff was floating around, but because I didn't engage in it. So I've got that one more Marvel film to go. If Star Trek makes it out and is good, that'd be great. I know I've got 3 episodes of Doctor Who to look forward to. I have no idea after that, which will be interesting. But yeah, it's weird how certain things have turned out. Should we talk about Hogwarts?
Yeah. I'm what level are you?
28.
Same. We're both exactly the same. Yeah, I explored the map for ages.
I've been exploring the map. I just cleared all the stupid demiguises out of Hogwarts and out of Hogsmeade, which took longer than it should have done. So I've got level 3 Alohomora, so I can now go any fucking way because the locked doors are getting on my tits. There's the thing that's holding me back from doing full exploration.
I haven't done that many missions yet, so I'm still going through. I've got Cruciatus. I'm in the middle of getting Imperio. I know that Imperio comes. And whilst I'm not going down the dark route, those bloody curses come in handy now and again. So I am using them on the odd occasion. The thing is, though, the game, it just look. This was, I think, setting the game back in the 1800s was an afterthought, but it just doesn't. It doesn't feel right. It feels like it's not set in the 1800s. It's modern.
Yes,
and it keep. The problem is it annoys me. It's got to the point where this is now annoying because it's like these people are trying to rewrite history. I'm sorry, right? Homosexuality was illegal, and there was no such thing as trans people then. Sorry, there wasn't people that were able to sort of like alter, their bodies. That we didn't have the sort of medical technology back in that day. I'm sure there were people that felt like they were trapped in bodies, but there are very few records of people ever sort of publicly being coming out like that. And
have you heard? Right, hang on a second. That trans character who runs the pub. Yeah.
And the
have
voice.
You heard that they altered her voice? One, I think there's 2 versions of it. One makes it sound more feminine, and then there's another version which makes it sound more masculine.
It's ridiculous. The voice is so male. I mean,
you're a wizard.
Having kind of knowing a couple of trans people, they take medication to alter the pitch of their voice. They basically get, so that they don't sound male. Okay, they don't sound completely female, but they definitely don't say, "Hello, my name's Dave." I'm a barmaid. They don't sound like that. And this guy sounds so fucking male. It's ridiculous.
Right. Okay. So I listened to one of the developers, and they said that I had trouble getting Quidditch working, and it was like we need to get the game out because we can't delay it because we couldn't get Quidditch working. So I'm hoping Quidditch comes down the line, and we've got that to look at. So we've got that. It's
the scene when you get the hippogriff, that's awesome.
I haven't got a hippogriff yet.
How have you? So you're doing different. Are you just doing the main missions and not the side ones? Have you not done any?
Oh no, I'm doing all the side missions before I do the main missions. So I've got the beast, the Fantastic Beasts class, but I haven't got around to doing it yet.
So you haven't met Poppy yet. Okay, so you get a hippogriff and you get to fly the hippogriff, and that is really cool. I mean, that is a really cool scene. You fly past fucking Hogwarts, and it's just like, okay, ray tracing fucking fully turned on, 4K TV. It does look good. The music is like, okay, that I'll give you that. That does give me the feels. But it just keeps doing stupid stuff. Like the kids talk using modern vernacular. I hate to say it, no one taught like this in the 1800s. No one used certain words like this in the 1800s. I know. I'm an English teacher. It's ridiculous. And I don't know why it has to be set in the 1800s. There's no, other than the Goblin Wars, which I think they're kind of getting to. That's the only thing referenced in Rowling. So why couldn't this be set after Harry Potter? Why does it have to? There's even a fucking portrait of Hagrid. Yes.
Is there?
Yes.
You sure that's not some cheeky Easter egg?
Maybe, but it's there. And what I don't get, and this does bug me. I'm sorry, it does. The Great Hall is too small, and the library is way too big. Like, the library is bigger than the fucking Great Hall by substantial amount. And then you get like they just that. I'm sorry, the interior design of Hogwarts is screwed up. And that
100 years ago, Keith, it may have changed since then. My school's not the same as it was, and that's 20 years ago.
It's not 100 years ago. Okay, I think they couldn't be asked to put the Whooping Willow in, even though the Whooping Willow is in the fucking promotional picture, right? This was never intended to be in the 1800s. I think that's a last minute thing. Have a look. It's there. It's on the right side.
Okay.
It's there, and it's not in the game because obviously the Whooping Willow was planted in order to allow what's his face Lupin. So, but the Whooping Willow is in the promotional material. I'm just trying to find it.
Go find the Whooping Willow.
I've got it here. Look, have a look. Hang on. Can I
share it? Come on, share it.
I'm trying share.
Come on.
I don't know how to do this stupid technology. Can I share? Oh, I have to share tabs. Duh. Hang on. Give me a minute. 1 minute, caller. 1 minute.
Bozo, man's a bozo. Doesn't know what he's doing.
No,
Hasn't
really
got a clue.
No, he really doesn't.
He can't tell. He can't tell the difference between stupefy and retardo.
It actually won't let me. Here we go. Now it's letting me share a tab. Retardo. Right. So
it's running gag.
Look here below the owl. That's the Whooping Willow. Can you see it?
Why hasn't it got leaves on it?
Well, it doesn't half the time, and this is kind of in autumn, but that is the Whooping Willow. That was intended to be the Whooping Willow. Or Whomping Willow.
Whomping Willow.
So, yeah, I don't think they ever intended to set this in the 1800s. And, you know, of course, now everybody's having to go at it saying that the reason that we have like a trans character, gay character, is just to appease the people. It's tokenism. This is why you will never. Oh, it is, but you will never win with these people. You will never ever fucking win with these people. The only thing I can say is that I'm glad that the game.
All right, hang on a second. All right, so just a quick one, Biffa. Yeah, in what was the best Harry Potter game up until now, the Chamber of Secrets, the moving staircase, game wise, was the most irritating fucking thing ever because you'd have to stand at the edge of the stairs and wait for him to move, and you'd be like, "Come on," and they'd be like, "Bump." I'm actually glad they got rid of it because as a game mechanic, it would be irritating. Trust me.
I think
entertaining. It's not.
I think Gareth is right, but it bothers me as well, Biffa. It does bother me, but that's not the most egregious thing. I can get over the staircase. What bothers me is that it doesn't even look like the movie Hogwarts really anywhere internally, except like some of the classrooms, but they're too big. The Great Hall, as I said, is too small. Yet the library is ridiculously oversized for a school library. I mean, it's ridiculously oversized for a school library. It's way too big. And they've actually shown the library in the movies. The interior design is completely screwed, and I don't like the interior design, but the exterior design, I get kind of why they've done what they've done with it. There are things that I would have done differently, but I like Hogsmeade. Are you into winter yet?
No, I've just got into autumn.
So I'm into winter, and it looks beautiful, except that Hogsmeade doesn't have snow on the roofs. It's like even the Hogsmeade at the bloody theme park has no snow on the roofs. Why doesn't it look? There's certain things that they've done I just don't understand. What I do like is that there's lots of little book Easter eggs in there, and I do like that. I like Peeves flying around being Peeves.
I hate Peeves. That's the one thing
that's the whole point.
They cut from the books. Peeves was such a dick.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like I got annoyed that they cut out the fact that Dursley, who's the young Dursley? Vernon. Uncle Vernon's the tall one.
yeah.
Dudley.
Yeah, Dudley.
Dudley at the end turns around, walks up to him and goes, "Oh, I don't think you're a waste of space, Harry." So he gets his redemption. And then the bit where Draco chucks him his wand and he gets his redemption too. Yeah. And those are two things. The redemptive arc is such a good thing to have in the story. Now, it can be bad, but when the chips down, if you do the right thing, we might forgive you. They also cut out the fact that Lucius Malfoy went to bloody Azkaban too. The only reference you get is a tattoo on his neck and a screenshot of him with holding the plank up.
I have criticism over the films, but look, the bit it's not the interior of Hogwarts. It bothers me, but I like the flying around Hogwarts and as I said, the hippogriff scene. The hippogriff is just fantastic, and Hogwarts at night looks pretty cool in places, and especially in winter. The winter it looks kind of beautiful. I'm really enjoying the look in winter at the moment, but I just don't understand why it was set in the 1800s. There's no need for it. The kids talk like kids do today. They talk like generation whatever it is now, Z or whatever they call them. And it's just there's no. It doesn't feel like it's set in the 1800s. It feels like it's set now, and that's stupid. That's just bad writing. If you're going to set it in the 1800s, you set it in the 1800s, right? Why, if you were so scared of the criticism, even though everybody loves this game and it was always going to sell because it's a minority of people shouting online, it always is. Look at the millions of people that turned up to that fucking Netflix protest against that comedian. 3 people.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. It's a load of BS. But they filled this game with all of this modern stuff, and I'm not saying that's wrong. Although the trans person could have had a slightly more feminine sounding voice, so that it doesn't look like a game bug, because they don't mention at the beginning it's trans. So right at the beginning, I thought it was a bug in the game. It was only afterwards I went, oh no, the fucking character's trans. Loads of people didn't accept me as a witch. I am a witch, Dave. There, and it is buggy as fuck. I am kind of enjoying it. I am. All the spell casting is kind of cool, and when you get that fucking ability to like there's bits where, again, like the whatever they're calling them, the not the poachers, the other ones, the amplifier one, whatever they are, right? There's a Ashwinders. They look like Death Eaters, right? And because it's a PlayStation 5, when they fucking apparate into the rock and they zoom like that, and you get that black thing and they appear and they start fighting, so you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
That is
that is kind of cool. So look, there's plenty of criticism for it, but the gameplay's pretty good. It's quite a big map. It's actually impressive considering this game is cross-platform. It's buggy as fuck, but some of the bugs have been fixed since the patch the other day. So, yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it, I have to admit.
Yeah. It's it's good. I'm glad. I was going to get the game, but I was going to wait. I'll be honest with you. But because everyone wants to match a bloody hoo-ha, it was like, nah, I'm buying it now. I'm buying it now. It's going to be good. We'll enjoy ourselves.
You told me weeks ago that you pre-ordered it. And when it came to options of the, what game to get, I was still kind of, and I still am tempted by Horizon. I went with Hogwarts because I knew you were getting it. And I thought, right, that's something we can talk about. I might enjoy it. So I went with the Hogwarts as my, not free game, but my game that I could get with it. So,
let's say I want some quick say hello to Chuck. What Chuck's here in the comment?
Hello, buddy. Yeah, iPhone.
Oh, right. Hang on a second.
It's your destiny.
I think Chuck should get an iPhone. He's a perfect candidate for an iPhone. Hi, fellas. Any interest in the BAFTAs today?
No. Apparently there's controversy around it, and all I heard was race and controversy, and I just I don't care.
Too
I don't
many
care.
white people in Top Gun Maverick for it to win a BAFTA.
Oh, I just don't care.
What the fuck? Seriously, make yourself irrelevant. Go in the corner and make yourself irrelevant away from everyone else, please. Thank you.
I genuinely just don't care about these people anymore. What they think they're doing good, and all they're doing is doing harm, and they're going to set their cause back fucking 50 years. So fuck them. You know, Sam Smith complaining about what was it, the gender that he wanted gender neutral awards, so they got gender neutral awards, and there was too many men. Then he complained there was too many men. It's like, what do you fucking want? Do you just want the women to win? Come out and say it. Then you look like a biased prick. But there we go. Although wearing that fucking thing that he wore, he looks like a dick anyway. So yeah, there we go. That was my political rant. Now I'm done. No, I'm not interested in the BAFTAs. Do not give a fuck.
No, not even the gaming BAFTAs.
Not really.
No, it's I don't know what they've done. Oh, Luther's coming back.
I know. I've seen
end of the month. Netflix looks great.
Andy Serkis versus Luther. That's kind of genius. That's kind of genius. I am really, really looking forward to that film. Don't know what's going to happen. Really looking forward to it. Yes, that is good. And we were talking just before. There is a rumor going around that Mr. Moffat, because he watches this podcast. Hi, Stephen. Is going to write an episode for Doctor Who again. And this, I have to admit, has kind of got me excited, because whilst I was heavily critical of Moffat as showrunner, he wrote the best bloody episodes under RTD. And I mean, there is no denying that. So if he's writing an episode of Doctor Who, I'm kind of interested. I don't know what Doctor Who's going to be like. I really don't. It's not like, I was quietly optimistic for Picard season 3 when I started hearing things. I do not know. I just do not know.
That's it. Yeah.
But
Boss's mush. What was it? What was fella? Chris Chibnall did so much fucking damage on behalf of the BBC. That's the bit that gets me. On behalf of the BBC. Yeah, he ruined that story.
I mean, and the BBC is run by a bunch of lefties, and they they are not neutral. They are not impartial. I mean, there's a program out I just saw advertised on the BBC a minute ago. Andrew Tate, the world's biggest misogynist. Well, hang on a second. The guy hasn't actually been charged yet. So innocent till proven guilty, but they're calling it now. Oh, look, I know Tate does what he does, and I know some of the stuff he says.
Do you know how I describe Andrew Tate? If Macho Man Randy Savage had the philosophy of Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
He delivers these things like he's a fucking wrestler.
But the BBC is meant to be impartial. So advertising your program and naming it Andrew Tate, the biggest misogynist, when the guy... It's again the BBC not being impartial. You look at the BBC New website, and they run and put center stage female stories, women's rights stories. They are on the front page of the news. Even when the story is 5 days old, it's kept on the front page of the BBC News. This is the BBC not being impartial. I think the BBC needs to end. I argue this with my father. I don't care. The BBC's, I used to be one of the biggest defenders of the BBC, but it's run by people that are not impartial. I'm done with them. They are not impartial. They are part of this crazy bunch of morons. So, yeah, anyway. So you're right. The BBC has done damage, but so did that Game of Thrones, and yet House of Dragon was good. And that kind of... I never thought I'd watch another Game of Thrones, and I purposefully was never going to watch this. I was going to ignore this. I hate the fucking author because he's a lazy bastard, and I hated what they did. But Matt Smith, so Ncuti Gatwa is kind of likable, and if he nails
hang on a second,
this, well,
did you hear about this?
I've seen it. I've seen.
Have
two
you seen
episodes.
it? I've seen clips of it on YouTube.
fucking amazing.
I saw the clip on YouTube where you've got who's the not the Jewish one. It's the Jewish one.
Yeah.
So, who's your Kyle? Yeah, so Kyle's trying to improve his brand by some company called Cum Hammer.
Yes.
Yeah. And you've got Megan and thingy, and they're firing fireworks off and playing drums and stuff and saying
it's genius because they call them the Canadian Prince and Princess. It's fucking genius, right? The first episode was great because never have I been so like Eric Cartman in my life, because like it starts off right with this TikTok video. My wife is obsessed with TikTok at the moment, right? And it keeps having this same music, and they've lifted the music directly off TikTok. And so Carl's doing a TikTok with Token, and Cartman's just looking at it, and he's just staring at the screen for about 10 seconds. I'm going, and he just goes, "What the fuck is this?" I went, yes, that's me every time I'm going, what the fuck is this? And then we had this prince, stop invading our privacy. And they're walking around with these signs, right? Going, stop invading our privacy. Gareth, it's fucking genius. It's a brilliant. I really are South Park. South Park's been good for a while, but this was just so on point. It was genius. And it says so much because America has never been critical of the royal family. America loved the royal family. They fucking don't like Harry anymore. They really don't.
I can't fucking stand them. I really can't.
Well,
he doesn't look very happy. That's the first thing.
Okay. I used to defend him, and I can't defend him either. I can't. I want a royal family. I want a monarch. Is more what I would say. By the sounds of it, Charles is chucking his fucking brother out of his really expensive house. Nice one, Charlie. Good boy. Yeah, Andrew should be on the fucking streets. Fucking dirty. Anyway,
prison, mate.
Yes, he should.
Could you actually saying that? Could you imagine he goes to prison and 10 years he comes out, he's roided up and tattooed up, and he's considered the hardest member of the royal family,
but he doesn't sweat.
He doesn't sweat. Apparently, he doesn't sweat, and he went to Pizza Express in Woking, which doesn't exist. I know it's around the corner from me. It doesn't exist.
I think this Physical 100, is this a Korean thing or is this a remake of a Korean thing?
No, this is
because my wife was watching. My wife was watching a Korean one where this fucking roided up bird was taking on this skinny little Asian guy, but the Asian guy was kneeling on her boobs, right? And this was full on fucking contact. I'm like, hang on, what the fuck are you watching? And then they're fighting over like a ball. Is that what this is? Because it's the Korean version. My wife was going, it's Squid Games.
I think I've seen it. What was it? I watched. Yeah.
My
one that is Korean. Okay.
My wife is Pizza Express is down Gosworth Road. Okay, nice one, Darren. Because I made the sweat comment.
Hang on a second. No, it wasn't always down there.
Anyway, my wife was watching that Biffa dubbed into Thai. It's quite funny dubbed into Thai. All right. So yeah, go on.
I think we'll wrap this one up.
Okay.
Thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next podcast. Bye bye for now. Wave.
Bangity bang.